Hi Chloe, how are we?
I'm very well, how are you?
Good, yes, very well, thank you.
It's your turn to be in the hot seat this week.
Okay, yeah.
And we're going to talk about your area of expertise, which in this instance is hair care.
It is, yeah.
So first tell us a little bit about your background and maybe what makes you qualified to talk about our hair care products.
Okay, so when I was 21, I started as a barber, and my interest was in just solely in barbering. And then I got talked into doing hairdressing, which is then I went on and did hairdressing. Hated it for about 3 months, really did not like doing women's hair, but stuck with it. Then qualified as a hairdresser in my level 2, then did my level 3, and then went on to uni and did my teaching as well to teach 16 plus.
Interesting. And do you still do any of that now?
I still do that now, so I still have a fair few clients that I do, and I work in a salon in Malton once every 2 weeks. So yeah.
So you do you like it now then?
Yeah.
Considering
I like
you first hated it.
I first hated it, and that was only because it was just a brand new challenge, and it was a few things that I just really could not do. And I was just like, just pack it in and just let's go back to barbering. But no, I've stuck with it. I've qualified. I've done everything. Yeah, and I taught hairdressing for 3 years. Yeah, 3 years.
Very good. So we're going to talk about the shampoo and conditioner and hair serum today.
Yeah.
Lots of ands in there. So we're going to start with the shampoo bars. You're a man of many talents. As well as managing the shop, you were also involved in a lot of the making.
Yeah.
So you have a good understanding of what sort of ingredients go into a lot of our products. So starting with the shampoo bars, they are 100% sulphate and detergent free. So from a professional standpoint, how does that benefit the hair? What would you say the key differences are between a traditional liquid shampoo and our shampoo bars?
So one of the main differences is our shampoo bars don't have any harsh chemicals in. They don't contain silicone, which is obviously a plastic that's found in a lot of branded shampoos. So when you see these adverts that say you get a silky smooth shine and all such as that, that isn't because your hair's in really good health. That is because the shampoo is putting a coat of plastic around each strand of hair to give you that nice shine.
Yeah.
The only way that you get a really nice shine from your hair is washing it with normal, such as our shampoo bars, but then drying your hair with a hairdryer and a brush and drying it down, which is closing your cuticle scales to give it that nice healthy shine.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of people, because they wash their hair at home and they just kind of blast it off with a hairdryer, they still get that shine because when they're using off the brand shampoos, that silicone is protecting that hair and it's putting that shine on it already without you even having to blow dry it nicely.
Right.
So it's giving a false sense of shine.
Of hair health.
Of hair health, yeah.
So if I wanted super shiny hair, I could still achieve that using our shampoo bars. I'd just have to blow dry it down.
Blow dry it down, yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of people have the idea that you can just kind of waft your hairdryer round.
I just let mine air dry.
Letting it air dry. Air drying is absolutely fine. It's probably, it's good if you're letting it air dry as well because you're not applying heat to it or anything like that. So you're not actually damaging it in any further way. But the scientifically way of speaking about hair is that when we wash our hair, we open up the cuticle scales so that it washes the cortex, and then you apply your conditioner, which then closes the cuticle scales, locks in that hair's health.
Okay.
But when you dry it, if you're drying it the opposite way, you're opening the cuticle scales back up again, and that's the not sitting right. So if people have like split ends and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's generally because they're not drying it correctly.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and getting it cut as well is like another
Right.
way to keep you
Yeah.
nice and
A little
healthy.
subtle plug in there.
Well, you know,
Wayne's available every other Saturday.
just going to throw that in there.
So, obviously, transitioning from a liquid shampoo that you've used probably from being a child, you know,
Yeah.
and then transitioning to something solid, one of the questions we get asked most, as you know, is how do you use it?
Yeah.
Do I rub it straight onto my scalp? Do I lather it up in my hands first? Could you just give me a really quick rundown of someone who's never used a shampoo bar before, a step-by-step guide for using it?
So, first step is chuck away all your other shampoos.
Burn them.
Burn them, because what we get asked this quite a lot in the shop, and you start having a conversation with a customer, and then you find out that they're using this for 2 washes and shampoo for 1 wash. Well, that's not going to work at all. It needs to be either all or nothing.
Okay.
So ditch your old shampoos, switch onto this, you lather it up into your hands, which I think is the best way, and then you're going to rub it into your scalp and to your hair.
Okay.
If you've got a dry scalp, then you want to focus more on your scalp area. You want to stick with the fragrance-free or lavender, which is good for dryness.
Okay.
But what you want to do is massage it into your scalp, and you kind of, if you have got a dry scalp, you want to massage that scalp really kind of thoroughly.
Okay.
So underneath our scalp, we've got our sebaceous gland, which produces our natural oils, which your hair will start to produce again once you start moving on to these. That'll produce its own natural oil. Your scalp will feel less dry, less itchy if it is. Yeah, and then move down to your mid-lengths and ends.
Oh, okay. So you would move it down the lengths and ends of your hair as well?
Yeah, to make sure that everything's washed. If you've got a greasy scalp, then you want to stay away from massaging the scalp as much. So your scalp then has an overstimulated sebaceous gland. It's producing a bit more oil than it should. So staying away from that, kind of not as intensely massaging it, will help it kind of just maintain itself.
Yeah.
And you want to go for lemongrass for that one.
For an oilier scalp?
For an oily scalp, stick with lemongrass.
Okay.
Or if you put a lot of products in your hair, such as hairspray, dry shampoo, mousse, clay, whatever you do to style your hair, you want to go for lemongrass, because that'll break down the product to clean your hair.
Yeah. So lather it up in my hands, massage it onto my scalp.
Yeah.
Just rinse it off with water.
Rinse it off, normal hot water.
Yeah. Don't need to put anything else fancy on. That is it.
No.
So in the transition from a liquid shampoo to using a solid shampoo, you know where I'm going with this, because there is a little bit of a transitional period, isn't there?
There is.
What might people expect to see as they are transitioning?
So the transition period can be 2 to 3 months.
Okay.
For a good, for your hair to get used to it. You will probably, most likely, go through a period where you think, oh God, my hair is really greasy.
Yeah.
And all that is it's breaking down the harsh chemicals, the bad stuff that you've had on your hair from your bottled shampoo. And so, yeah, you will go through a stage of being greasy, been a bit, you might feel it's a little bit oily.
Yeah.
But you've just got to stick with it.
Yeah.
If you can and you are struggling, there is alternatives. You can put tiny drop of apple cider vinegar into your hair, which will then break down the grease a little bit more. That is fine to use alongside these, because it's all natural again. But your hair will get used to it over time.
You just got to stick with it.
You've just got to stick with it.
Some people take to it like a duck to water, and some people have no side effects at all. I was definitely one of the people where there was a lot of transition, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, because my hair's quite processed because I bleach my hair and I use a lot of product on it.
Yeah.
It obviously took its time working.
Yeah. So just to talk about that is because, so what you've found is because your hair is bleached.
Don't have to say it like it's a swear word. I'm a
is
natural blonde, I don't know what you mean.
It is bleached. So what that is when we bleach our hair, how bleach works is it opens up our cuticle scales and it takes all our colour molecules out of the hair. So what your hair's left with is a strand of hair with no colour molecules so the colour molecules kind of harden up your hair, give it the strength and everything like that.
Okay.
So as you are removing that, hence why when we are bleaching hair at the salon once every 2 weeks, they are removing the colour molecules out, and so your hair's not left with as much integrity as it was when it was a natural. So hence why your hair would have grabbed hold of like any kind of moisture out of the shampoo bar that it possibly can.
Yeah.
Because it's
fragile.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay, Wayne. You can tell me.
I'll tell you.
Interesting. So we've got the 3 different scents in the shampoo bar.
Yeah.
We've also got the conditioning roundel.
Yeah.
Do you make these? Was this in your remit or was this the other place?
This was the other place. I generally didn't make the conditioning bars.
Okay.
But I know about them.
You know the ingredients. Yeah. So there's 2 key ingredients I kind of want to touch on with you. One of them is cocoa butter and the other one is sweet orange essential oil.
Yeah.
Could you just briefly tell me the benefits of those 2 ingredients for your hair?
Yeah, so sweet orange is great at breaking down, again, like your harsh chemicals that you've got in your hair, because it's orange, because it's acidic, it'll break it down. And your cocoa butter is great for, so how I talked about a silicone kind of base around your hair before, cocoa butter does that, but in a more natural way. So cocoa butter is a natural soothing, smoothing agent for your hair to give it that shine, to give it that healthier look.
Yeah.
But because it's natural, it doesn't put a silicone layer around because there's no silicone in it. It just gives it that natural shine, how your hair should be.
So how would I use a conditioning bar? Again,
same way, lather it up into your hands. You want to apply it to your mid-lengths and ends first.
Okay.
And then whatever's left on your hands, it might not be a lot, then massage it into your scalp.
Oh, okay.
So one thing that you've got to remember is shampoo, you start from your scalp and move down. Conditioner, you start from your mid-lengths, ends, and then into your scalp.
Right.
So when we talk about mid-lengths and ends, we talk about like halfway down.
Yeah.
Ends, then scalp.
Okay.
And to touch on the shampoo again, you should always 2 washes when you are washing your hair.
Right, so you do it twice?
Do it twice, but you only condition once.
Why is that?
So, you should always wash your hair twice because the first wash is only removing the outside layer of like dirt, trafficking, environmental
pollutants.
Yeah, off your hair. So you've got to remove that first, and then once you do your second wash, that is what actually opens up your hair and cleans inside your hair strand, which will then give you that healthier hair.
That's very interesting. So, I mean, you think about a bottle of shampoo that you might get from Superdrug. Could be about that big.
Other brands
are also available. These shampoo bars don't look very big.
No.
One of the questions we get asked a lot is how long would something like this last me?
Yeah.
What's your answer to stuff like that?
So I generally give the same advice to everyone, which is it depends on how much you wash your hair.
Okay.
If you're washing your hair 5 times a week, then it's not going to last you as long. But what we want to go for is your hair to naturally maintain itself.
Right.
So therefore, you could then only maybe be washing it twice a week.
Okay.
So these bars could last you. We've been told by customers that they're buying another shampoo bar after 6 months. So 6 months could
that's crazy.
Last for one of those shampoo bars.
Considering they're like £3.95 or £4, whatever they are.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, and the thing is, like, we look at shampoos that we get off the shelf, which are people do buy cheap.
Yeah.
Buy cheap shampoos. But some shampoos are up to like £15-20 a bottle.
Yeah, they
what
are.
you think are good shampoos.
Yeah.
What there actually is mainly water and silicone and everything else that's not solely great for you.
That's very interesting. So, we've also recently brought out our hair serum. Yes.
Now, I was involved in the hair serum.
You were involved in the hair serum.
Yes.
So, the hair serum's an interesting one. Would you recommend using it daily, weekly, monthly? How would you use the hair serum?
So the hair serum I would use, you can use it daily, absolutely fine. I would generally go for every other day.
Okay.
Definitely, once you've washed your hair, towel dried it. So by towel dry it, I mean just taking so that it's not dripping.
Yeah.
2 drops into your hand, mix it into your hands. Again, it's like conditioner, so you're going to do mid-length, ends, and then into your scalp. But also, it's fantastic for, in the morning, flyaway hairs.
Right, okay.
So, a lot of people do tend to try and go down the lacquer hairspray on in the morning to stop flyaways. This will do the exact same job. It probably won't be as hardened to begin with, but what you'll be finding is your hair will be going more into a healthier state and it will stop flyaway hairs.
So you can use it on wet and dry hair?
You can use it on wet and dry hair.
And just 2 drops?
2 drops.
Because we've had a few people come in, because with a standard hair serum, it's like a pump, isn't it? Which is like 5-6 drops in your hand, and then your hair it's gone. Whereas with that, you can't have 5 or 6 drops of that on your hair because it'll look like you've dipped your head in a chip pan.
Yeah, and a lot of people say, well, 2 drops isn't a lot, but it actually is once it's in your hand. You don't need a lot on your hair for oil for it to do its natural thing.
So let's touch on the ingredients briefly.
Yeah.
We've got argan oil in there.
Yeah, so argan oil is, it's been used
centuries
for your hair. Argan oil is fantastic for your hair strand health. Okay. So that is what's good for your hair strand.
Yeah, it's quite a common ingredient in a lot of shampoos. You see it plastered all over the side. It contains argan oil.
Yeah.
There's also grapeseed and jojoba seed oil in there as well. But one of the ingredients that I really wanted to talk to you about was the rosemary. Yeah. Which is interesting.
So rosemary is a very interesting oil. That actually helps aid sort of hair growth. We can't sell it and say
this helps your hair regrow.
This helps your hair regrow, because that's not how rosemary oil works. We're not going to rub rosemary oil in and we're going to have an afro in 2 weeks. It helps promote hair growth, so it will help your hair health, which then leads to hair growth.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, out of all these products here, which is our hair care range, I've not missed anything, I don't think.
No.
Which one's your favourite?
My favourite definitely is obviously the one I was most involved in.
That surprises me.
I use this on my clients at the salon once every 2 weeks on a Saturday. And the lemongrass shampoo bar. I love the lemongrass.
Do you?
Yeah, because I love the smell of lemongrass and it's just such a fresh smell.
It's one of my favourites as well. Yeah. That's so interesting.
Yeah, I like to copy in.
Yeah, I just want to be you, really, don't I? I just want to be you.
The conditioner's great. I tend to not condition my hair because I find that it goes too soft and then I can't style it. Yeah. And then it's blowing around everywhere. A bit of wind
comes, bit of a Donald Trump look going on.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it's too soft for me. You completely thrown me off now.
Right, let's bring it back then, because I have prepped some questions, because I was apprehensive, me and you sitting in a room together, we would just go off topic. So let's wrap it up then. For somebody who is hesitant, apprehensive, someone who's a die-hard Tresemme, other brands are available, person who's maybe thinking about transitioning to natural, what advice would you give them? Would you say jump in feet first, buy one of each of our products and go for it? What would be your advice to someone who was feeling a bit nervous about it?
Yeah, I would definitely say buy one of each product.
Okay.
If you're unsure, then I would go shampoo and conditioner, because you're gonna get the good health from that. Transitioning over, that's if you didn't want to obviously get the hair serum. I would advise getting the hair serum as well, so that you've got all three and you can just go for it.
Yeah.
One thing that you don't want to do is think, oh well, I'll try the shampoo, and then you're using a conditioner from a bottle.
Right.
Or vice versa, you're using the conditioner bar but you're using shampoo from a bottle.
Right.
If you're going to do it, you want to do it all.
Right.
And let your hair just naturally do its own thing. And you will find that if you are washing your hair 5 times a week now, your hair probably won't need to be washed as much.
Yeah.
Because there's not as much clagginess on your hair. Your hair will go to its own natural kind of state of health.
Yeah. That is something that people do tell us, actually, that they only wash their hair once a week once they've transitioned to that, which is crazy to me.
Yeah, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I've had someone say, which, is absolutely fine. Your hair will naturally sort itself out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wayne, have I missed anything?
Just one of the other questions that we do get asked quite a lot is, does it affect coloured hair?
Okay.
It really doesn't.
Right.
Okay, so it will not strip hair colour. It will not affect bleached, damaged hair or anything like that. It's not damaged. It's absolutely fine. But it will not affect hair
health.
Like hair health. Yeah, once you've been to the salon. I won't plug another one in.
Okay, go on.
Once every 2
other
weeks.
Saturday.
Big shout out to House of Hair. Once you've been for your hair coloured or bleached or anything like that, using our natural shampoos will not affect it.
Okay.
In any shape or form.
Okay.
It won't make the colour come out or fade.
Not last as long or change or...
No,
so...
not like other branded shampoos. 2-in-1.
Oh,
Stay
right,
away
okay.
from 2-in-1.
Right, okay. Is this the...
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We can't maybe name that brand.
No, we can't.
Maybe, but it's... Right, okay. So coloured hair, yes. What about undyed hair? Grey hair?
Yep, absolutely
what
fine.
What about curly hair?
Curly hair, even better.
What about afro hair?
Yep,
all good.
Fine. All good.
Okay.
And we've had a lot of great feedback about the conditioner for curly hair.
Very good.
Actually gets into the curly hair a lot better than branded shampoo.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Little soft plug there.
Yeah.
Wayne, thank you very much for spending some time with me this morning.
You are more than welcome, Michael.
It's been a pleasure as always. So you can find all of these products either in our Malton store, which is where we are right now. We are also available online 24/7, cosycottagesoap.co.uk. I'll also link a blog post on this video or podcast somewhere because one of our colleagues, Shelley, has beautiful long dark hair, went through the transition process of going from liquid to a solid shampoo bar and documented the full process throughout lockdown. And it's a really interesting read if you are interested in getting into the nitty-gritty of what to expect when transitioning. Wayne, thank you very much.
No problem. And just to
we're not having another plug.
House of Hair once every 2 weeks on a Saturday.